for anybody who would like to shout someone out from the team. It can be for something that they have been doing in their personal journey. It can be for something that they have been doing in their business journey. Whatever. I mean, maybe it's just that they are a rock star at life and you want to give them a virtual high five for it. So I'm going to open up the floor for a second and you guys can just unmute yourself and shout someone out if you feel led.
Hi, I would like to shout out Lisa for completing her race today, not giving up on herself.
Yes, especially with the weather and everything she had against her today. It's awesome. I'm excited to see Carla on the call. I know Sunday nights aren't easy for you, so I'm glad you're here.
I wanted to shout out Lindsay for taking over this call for me tonight. I'm having so many technical difficulties and now I can barely even access the call with my phone. So I'm going to try to hop in and listen, but thank you for taking this on for me tonight.
No problemo. All righty. Does anybody else? I don't want to cut anybody off, but. All righty. So I'm going to share my screen with you because after Christy and I made our slideshow for our team call a couple weeks ago where we went over like how to take good quality pictures for your social media, I was like, that's really helpful to be able to see things, not just to hear about them. So I actually felt like what I'm talking about tonight, it would be really conducive for you to be able to see what I'm talking about as opposed to me trying to hold up my calendar and show it to you. So the whole purpose of tonight's call is for me to kind of talk to you about your success and what success looks like for you. And I think it's really important that you understand that success to me is different than success to you. And just because we're all on the same team and just because we're working the same business doesn't mean that we necessarily have business expectations of each other. So when you tell me what your goals are, those become my expectations. If you are coming to me and asking me to mentor you, I do not impose my expectations on anybody, nor do I expect anybody to put their expectations on me. It is not in my definition of success is not to be a top 10 coach. My definition of success for me looks a lot different than Melanie Mitro's definition of success for her. Your definition of success for you may look different and feel different than my definition does for me. So I just want to make that really clear. However, no matter what our success is, no matter how it looks or how it feels to us, I think there is kind of like a way to unpack our goals and reverse engineer them and make sure that we're doing the things we need to do on an hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis in order to hit those goals. And so that's what tonight is about. So that before you came on the call tonight, I asked you to do a couple things. And if you didn't do them, I'm going to give you like a minute while I get my screen up to do them right now, because these are things that have probably already been on your heart or on your mind. So they're probably things that won't take a lot of thought before I ask you to write them down. I asked you to write down 4 things. One of them was a business goal that you want to achieve before the end of 2018. The second one was a personal goal that you want to achieve by the end of 2018. So go ahead and get those down. The third one was a business goal that you want to strive for in the first quarter of your business in the year 2019. And the last one was a personal goal that you want to strive for in the first quarter of your business in 2019. And you're going to want to have those out in front of you, even if you don't have your calendar, whatever type of calendar you use in front of you this evening for the call. You're going to want those written on a piece of paper in front of you. I asked you to write them down as opposed to just thinking about them, because we all know when it's on paper, it's real. When it's in our head, it's so easy to just let it be a dream or a wish or, you know, this far away thing. But when it's on paper, we can actually look at it and start to make it come to fruition. Like we can look at it and have an idea of how we can accomplish that. It's in stone now, you know? I mean, you can crumple that paper up and throw it away, but it's still been written down, and that means something. So that's why I had you do that. And I'm also going to have you get them back out later this evening during the call and do something with them. So just be aware of that. Have them ready. Alrighty, let me share my screen here with you. It's gonna look a little funny here for a second. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hang on. Gotta move some things around so that I can actually see what I wanna see. All right, if one of you would just unmute yourself and let me know that you can see my screen, because I can't see you anymore.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I called this creating a blueprint to your success, and I really stressed the your, because again, what you wrote down on your paper for those 4 things is your idea of success. And it may not be what you want to achieve in, you know, the next 5 years, but it's a much more realistic way of looking at things and breaking them down into smaller pieces so that you know what you're working for in these last 4 months of the year and in the first 3 months of next year. So it actually is a pretty big chunk of time if you think about it. So when you're thinking about what success looks like for you, you really need to kind of determine what you're working for. Are you working for the ability to lead your own team? Do you want to maybe not necessarily break off of Team Grit and Grace, but maybe you want to form your own team name with the coaches who are underneath you, who are working directly with you, and you want to start stepping up and leading your team in a similar way to the way we do this team. Maybe success is financial freedom for you. And financial freedom could mean a lot of different things. Right now, I would say I am experiencing financial freedom, but financial freedom for me right now means I work full-time and I coach. Financial freedom for you may mean you quit that 9 to 5 and you stay home and you're financially free because you have this business. Maybe success is top 10 for you. It's okay to say that. It is absolutely okay to put that down on paper. Maybe success for you is rank. Maybe you feel like success is diamond. Maybe you feel like success is elite or premier or any of those things. Maybe success is a $5,000 a month income. Maybe it's enough money to cover your Shakeology. Maybe it's just you showing up, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and changing your family's lives for the better. Maybe it's not about money or rank or team or anything. Maybe it's simply about you setting that path for your family. So when I share this presentation with you after the call, if you click on this link right here, a YouTube link is going to pop up for a video that's really going to help you kind of identify your why. If you're someone who's really struggling with why you're coaching, then you probably don't know what success looks like for you right now. So I added that in there as a little opportunity for you to do some personal development, but also to get some, I don't know, some your mind wrapped around like why it is you're doing this. Because I know, like, for me, when I'm in the classroom, someone will say, well, why are you here? Remember why you're here. And I'll hear one of my coworkers say, for a paycheck. And I'm like, man, if I just needed a paycheck, I wouldn't teach. Like, golly, there's a lot easier things I could do and make more money, really. And I hope that's not just why you're coaching. You know, there's got to be something a little bit deeper that makes you wake up and want to do this in the morning. There's got to be something a little bit deeper that makes you push play at 5 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. before you go to your full-time job, right? So if you're having a hard time identifying what success looks like for you, then maybe you need to revisit your why. Maybe you haven't really put your finger on why you're doing this in the first place. And it is absolutely okay for your why just to be you. And it's also absolutely okay for your why to be being top coach. I mean, it's completely okay for it to be whatever you want it to be. So once you determine what your why is, you need to determine what you need to do in order to get there in order to hit it. And so that's what I was kind of saying earlier. You need to know what yearly goals you have to meet. Like, let's say, for instance, that you want to be an elite coach. You cannot go through the whole year not even knowing what the requirements are for elite. Because if you did that, how in the world would you know if you're on track to hit it? You wouldn't. So you need to know what your yearly goals are in order to meet success. You need to then be able to break it down into what you need to do in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter in order to meet those yearly goals. Then we need to break it down even further into what your monthly goals need to look like. Then break it down further. A month has 30 days in it. What do I need to do every day in order to make that monthly goal, in order to make that quarterly goal, in order to make that yearly goal? Do you see where I'm going here? Then, most of us do what we call a power hour. Some of us do power pockets. Some of us do power 30 minutes. Some of us sit on the toilet with a toddler on our lap and get our work done. I mean, let's just keep it real. So you need to then determine, so if I need to accomplish this in a day, what do I need to do in that time that I'm devoting to work? What needs to happen? What are my non-negotiables? So depending on what success looks like for you, a non-negotiable may be inviting 5 people to the business every day. Or if you have really high aspirations, maybe it means inviting 20 people every day. It really depends on what success looks like for you. I can assure you that Melanie Mitro is inviting more people every day than I am, because she's got much loftier success goals than I do. And it's okay. It doesn't mean she's more successful than me. It means her success for her is different than my success for me. I really want to drive that home tonight, because I do not want any of you to ever think that because you don't want to be an elite coach, or you don't want to quit your 9-to-5, or you don't want to do whatever, that makes you less of a coach, or that makes you unworthy of being a leader or less of a leader. Absolutely not true. All of us has our own idea of what this business means to us. All of us have our own idea of what we want to do with our life, and it's 100% okay, and you are capable and should step up as a leader no matter what your vision for your business is. Everybody in here should be stepping up. So we know we figured out our why, we figured out what we need to do. Now we need to figure out how. And this is where I want you to get out those 4 things that you wrote down, because this is what my calendar looks like right now for the month of September. Some of you are thinking, holy cow, that's a hot mess. And it may be for some of you. I am very type B. You guys know that. I am so laid back, I'm almost horizontal, and it is not a strength. It can be a big flaw in my character sometimes. But because I know that, I've found systems that work for me, that allow me to be me, but also to ensure that I am going to be a good leader and that I'm going to be successful in my eyes. So no matter what success looks like for you, you have to have some type of plan. So many of you, and I'm not, please don't, if you've talked to me recently, don't feel like I am saying this right to you. I'm actually saying it to the whole team. So many of you say to me, like, I want to accomplish this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and you want me to help you, and I want to help you. And so that's why I when Lindsay came to me and said, I'm not going to be able to do the call, my laptop's broken, I was like, I know exactly what we need to do. I know exactly what needs to be discussed on Sunday night. And that is where this idea of a marketing plan comes into place. It's where this idea of you mapping out those hours, days, months, quarters, years, and so on, so that you can hit those goals that are on your paper so that you are successful. And so what I want you to do right now is, if you have your calendar out in front of you, and some of you may not, if you don't, it's completely okay. You probably do have your phone with you, so I would like you to pull up a calendar just so you can see dates. But you wrote down a business goal and a personal goal that you want to achieve by the end of 2018. So I want you to open up your calendar to the month of September. Now, mind you, it's already September 9th. So we're not quite halfway through the month, but we're getting there. And I want you to start making note, or maybe even take a piece of that goal. So let's just say that your goal for your personal goal, this is actually mine, I'll share it with you. My personal goal for the end of 2018 is to lose these 10 pounds. I still have 10 pounds that I've been hanging on to since I had Laurel, and Laurel just turned 2. And I feel like that is ridiculous that I have not done anything different to lose the weight. So my goal is to lose those 10 pounds by the end of the year. Pretty easy goal right there. It's 2.5 months, right? So no, 3.5 months. I really should probably make a loftier goal. But what I need to do then is I need to start mapping out what I'm going to do in the month of September to help me achieve my goal. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm starting Shift Shop tomorrow. I'm going to finish Lift 4 week 8, and I'm going to start Shift Shop week 1, which I would not normally recommend to anybody, but I'm trying to keep up with a group that I'm doing. And I'm starting the Shift Shop meal plan tomorrow, and I've got everything all mapped out. So that's on my calendar. So whatever your personal goal and whatever your business goal are for the rest of 2018, I want you to put them on your calendar somewhere, or if you don't have your calendar out, then write a date next to them on your piece of paper that you wrote them down on when you would like them to be accomplished. Because here's the thing. If I'm saying I want to lose 10 pounds by December 31st, and I wait until December 20th to start working on it, is it going to happen? Heck no, especially with Christmas time. So what you need to do is you need to start putting a plan in place. We get so frustrated with our challengers who say to us, like, I want to lose weight, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And then they don't do it. And it's like, well, did you do the meal plan? No, I don't do meal plans. Well, did you push play every day? Most days. We get so frustrated with people because they say they want to accomplish something, but then they don't really do what needs to be done in order to accomplish it. And so easily we can fall in that same category. We can do the same thing, maybe in our own fitness journey, or maybe in our business journey, maybe in a personal thing that you've got going on. So I want you right now to put the date down. That's it. So if I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds really by like December 5th, because I don't want to be trying to lose weight during Christmas time. Then whatever your business goal is for the end of 2018, go ahead and put that on there too. Then I want you to flip forward to 2019 if you can. If you can't, then write these dates down when you want to accomplish and by accomplish, I mean it's done. Like if you want to be 2-star diamond in the first quarter of 2019, then keep in mind that you have to have your diamonds qualifying 6 weeks before you are technically 2-star. So I know some of this is kind of over some people's heads because you're like, what is she talking about? But just keep in mind what other things need to happen in order for you to hit those goals when you're making your date. So this is now kind of a up close idea of what my calendar looks like. It's not an idea. This is legit my calendar. I took a picture of it and put it in the thing. So you're getting to see a little bit of my personal life on here too. So when you look at this, I have a note for myself for tonight to switch everything over in our challenge group to Saved by the Bell, because tonight's the night that needs to happen. You can see at the top that I have Shift Shop, Mondays, albums, FAQ, nutrition, before, after, PD. That was part of my responsibilities for a group that I'm doing just for Shift Shop. So I wrote that all up there and I checked things off as I completed them. You'll see, and I'm going to go more in depth with a lot of this, but you're going to see tomorrow I made a note to myself. Saved by the Bell Prep Week gets started. Shift Shop gets started for me. Every month by the 10th, I want to have Success Club 5 already. Every month by the 20th, I want to have Success Club 10 already. So those are some things that you can see on my paper. Now, do I have to have Success Club 5 by the 10th in order to hit Success Club? No, I have to have it by the 30th or the 31st. But if I wait until then to start hitting it, to start working for it, then I'm probably not going to hit it. I hope you're understanding now why I'm saying it's so important for us to think ahead. So I actually plan my business very similar to the way I lesson plan in my classroom. I know what my students need to be able to do at the end of the school year when they take their big test. So then I break that down into what I can accomplish in each 9-week quarter that we have throughout the year. Then I break that down into what I need to do each week in order to make sure that I have hit those standards and they have mastered them by the end of the 9 weeks. That way, by the end of the year, they have everything they need to have. So you have to take your goal and you have to unpack it and figure out what all needs to get accomplished in order for that goal to be hit. And then you have to figure out what kind of time frame you have to accomplish those things. So here, I'm going to explain a little bit of what I've got going on my calendar. Our accountability bet group doesn't start until October 1st. But if I wait to start talking about the accountability bet until the end of the month or until October 1st, my people are not going to be ready to participate because they need to have their Shakeology at home. They need to have their workouts ready to go. It would be great if they even have a week or two under their belt before the accountability bet gets started. And I'm going to talk more about the accountability bet tonight. That's on some of the slides too. So I know some of you have questions about that. So I put it on my calendar. I make a note to myself because, guys, we are so busy. We have so many things going on. There's so many of us that are wearing like 15 different hats on any given day. So we have to make notes to ourselves. There is no way any person is going to keep up with all of this unless it's written down. And maybe you have a really pretty digital calendar. Maybe you have notifications in your phone. Whatever system works for you. You know that I'm a paper pen gal, so that's why I use paper pen. But you'll see here in the red arrows, I've made notes to myself. Like, I need to be talking about the accountability bet the first full week of September and the second full week of September. Then I pretty much don't, I mean, I might talk about it a little bit. I'll probably do a last call for the accountability bet on like the 21st of September. But other than that, I'm not going to talk about it much more after that. Then the third and fourth week of September, that's when I'm going to go back to all those people who told me no about the accountability bet for whatever reason, all those people who have told me no in the past because of finances or because they're afraid to make such a big purchase and not, maybe they won't like it, they're not shake people, yada, yada, yada. Anybody who has liked any of my posts about pumpkin spice, because Clean Up Your PSL is clearly a pumpkin spice group. That's when I'm going to go back the third week of September and the fourth week of September. I'm going to start really pushing our Clean Up Your PSL group. I am not going to take anybody for our Clean Up Your PSL group until or after the 27th, which you can see the yellow arrow pointing to over on that half of the page. The reason why I made myself that note is because I know in my right mind that I will not make it to the post office after that day and have everybody have their stuff in time to start on October 1st. I'm not good at getting to the post office, so I make sure to put that down there. I also made a note, you can see it next to where I have the yellow arrow pointing at Success Club 5. On the Tuesday after that, on the 11th, I made myself a note to share on Instagram that I'm only offering a free entry into the accountability bet to 10 people. And I've already got 3 people signed up for that. So there's only 7 slots available. And maybe by then there'll be even less. So I made myself little notes of when to talk about things. Otherwise, I could end up getting to the 26th and be like, well, crap, I never did that number thing. You know, because I forget. We are so busy, like I said. So then here's just a couple more things that I wanted to point out to you. I guess I've already talked a little bit about in that top left corner, just some notes to myself of things that I need to accomplish. You'll notice on another month, I did it over on the right-hand side because I had room on the right-hand side. I also made notes to myself. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner where the arrow's pointing for trivia, I'm responsible for posting on Sundays in my Saved by the Bell accountability group this month, and I am posting all my, we're doing a Saved by the Bell trivia for a prize every Sunday, and that was my responsibility. So I made a note to myself that I had to post on those nights, and I've already gone ahead and scheduled everything I needed to post for our whole challenge group. Again, because I know if I don't do that, it won't happen. I know I'm going through this quickly, and I did leave space for questions at the end. So then this is October. October doesn't look crazy yet, right? Because it's not here yet, but I do already have notes there. So some of you are thinking, well, why are you already marking up October? Because this is what I'm talking about. When you say you want to hit a goal and you have to start unpacking it, there are things that you're going to have to do this month, and then there's things that you're going to have to do next month in order to hit that goal. And they're different. They're different things. So I've already gone in, and ignore the date for Proving Grounds if that caught your attention, because they are no longer releasing it on that day. They've just changed it on us again. So I'll keep you posted on that. But I made a note to myself up there at the top where the green arrow is, accountability bet starts. We've got a lot going on in October, so I made sure to mark that really clearly, that the accountability bet starts and clean up your PSL starts that same day. Again, you can see my notes to myself that I need to post my trivia posts. Down at the bottom on the left, you see a purple arrow pointing toward Friendsgiving weekend sale. I'm going to actually start posting at the end of October, just little sneak peeks about like Black Friday, small business, who do you like to support? Do you like the sales during this time of year? Blah, blah, blah. Just to get people talking and thinking about sales, because if you recall, in November, we're going to do that Friendsgiving weekend sale event. And I'm going to show you my November month already too. On the right-hand side where you see the red arrow pointing, I made a note to myself that the Google form in our accountability bet needs to have a Shakeology check-in, a workout check-in, and a check where they admit to engaging with the post that was made that day. That way, every day they check those things, and if they do it the right amount of times, they earn their part of the pot. Again, I'm going to talk about that later. But I've made little notes all over my calendar, because I know when it's in my face, it's in my face, and I'm not going to forget. I also had made a note a while back, you may notice over on the 28th, where it says free group Croctober. I had thought I would do that, but then with everything else, once I put everything else on my calendar, I may decide not to do that. And then some of the other things like duty, check-ins, half day, that kind of thing, those are things for school. So here's November. November is it's kind of crazy too, just because we have a family vacation planned in November. But November is not quite as crazy because it's even further away. However, it's still on the map. It's still on my radar. I know that when I'm in Disney, I'm going to be off the board, off the grid. I'm doing strictly family time. Definitely getting up to do my workouts every day, but not going to be on the team call the 18th, not going to be posting anything in regards really to the business. So I know that those days I'm not going to be able to really give attention to some of the things we have going on in November. So I've made notes to myself. I need to be talking about the Friendsgiving weekend sale event from the 13th. I'm not going to talk about it on Veterans Day because everyone's off and we're just not going to do that. I'm going to talk about it the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. You can see my arrow there. And then I'm going to start talking about it again on Black Friday and the whole event takes place from Black Friday to, I think we said through Cyber Monday, and I actually extended it through Tuesday thinking we would give people the option to buy still on Tuesday. So for those of you who aren't really sure what that is, it's like a flash sale similar to what we did for back to school, but we decided we would do it for after Thanksgiving when there's Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, Black Friday. People are out there, looking for good deals, looking to save money. So I've already made notes to myself of when I'm going to start posting about those things, even though they're really far away. Again, if I did not make those notes, I can imagine that on the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, when I'm packing for our family vacation and getting lesson plans done for the 19th and 20th, I would probably just not post anything, and I would probably forget and lose that opportunity, and I don't want to do that. So, I'm not going to ask for questions yet until I can stop sharing my screen, and then I'll look at the chat box and see what's there because I can't see anything right now. All I can see is my slides. The accountability bet. So some people have been saying to me, well, I'm not quite sure I understand or how to share this. So I want to share with you what I've been doing and then give you some time to kind of like digest the information. So I've already made the group, but I have not made it open to you yet because I need to set up the albums and things like that. The accountability bet is very similar to a diet bet. And then one of my challengers today told me that she's participating in a step bet. So maybe some of you are familiar with those too. But essentially what it is in a diet bet, people pay in like $10, $20, $25 and they say they're going to lose a certain amount of weight. And then if they lose it, then they get a piece of the pot. If they don't lose it, they forfeit their money. So it kind of gives them some skin in the game. Like they've got to show up and actually do what they need to do in order to lose the weight because they've put some money in. The problem is a lot of us don't need to lose weight, or a lot of us aren't in this for weight. A lot of us are in this for mental health. A lot of us are in this just to be healthier in general, or maybe to get more muscular. Some of us are in it because we need to gain weight. We don't need to lose. So I didn't want to focus on losing weight because that kind of puts us in a market that doesn't support everybody. And we want to be all inclusive. We do not want anyone to feel like they don't fit in, because that's a crappy way to feel. So I took it a different route and called it an accountability bet, because regardless of whether we're trying to lose weight, gain weight, sorry, Carson, go to bed. Ask Daddy. Sorry. If we're trying to lose weight, gain weight, get more muscle, get healthier, work on our mental health, there are things we all need to do to achieve that. There are things that we need to be held accountable for in order to achieve those goals. So instead of everybody weighing in and doing it that way, we decided to focus on the small things we do on a daily basis that help us to feel better about ourselves, that help us to be a better mom or a more patient spouse or whatever, and use those things as a focus. And what people are going to do is they're going to pay $10 to join the accountability bet. We wanted to make it reasonable. If they participate 80% of the time throughout the month of October, then they get to earn their cash back plus whatever is in the pot gets split amongst all the participants who qualify. So at the very least, if they pay their $10 in, they'll get their $10 back if they participate. And that's like if everybody has 100% participation. If not everybody has 100% participation, then they'll most likely earn even more money than what they paid in. This is what you can offer. This is what I'm offering, and I'm only offering it to 10 people. If they purchase a challenge pack from you in the month of September, and I'm cutting mine off at September 27th, you pay the $10 entry fee for them. So remember when we were talking about thinking outside the box and trying to recreate that flash sale mentality without doing a flash sale all the time, because we don't want to keep doing the same thing because people are going to get sick of it. This is one of the things that I brainstormed. So what you can offer them is if you go all in, Shakeology and workouts, then I'll pay your $10 entry fee and you have the opportunity to win money. Could be $10, could be more. Either way, they're making money in this case. So that's a win-win right there. Basic information about the group. It's going to run from October 1st through the 31st. It's going to be a basic boot camp style. I've got some big things coming in January 2019 for our team. And this is actually a little bit of a test run, I guess, of what those things will be. So we'll see how it goes. Prep week is going to be in units within the group. So we're not actually going to have a prep week. It's going to be units, and it's going to be one of the first things they have to check off on their Google form in order to participate. So if they don't do the units for prep week, they will not earn back their $10. There's going to be a Google form to complete for accountability bet participation tracking. They're going to have to complete it every day. I'm giving them grace. If they complete it 80% of the month, then they win their money back. If they don't, then they do not win their money back. Challengers must pay $10 to join, or like I said, you can pay it for them, separate from standard challenge groups. So most of us are probably going to have to run another group. You're going to have the accountability bet going, and then you're going to have your regular group going, because not all of your people are going to want to join the accountability bet. And the only people allowed in the accountability bet are the ones who paid. That way, at the end, it's kind of easy breezy how we split the money. So I'm suggesting that you make a post in your accountability group for this month at some point about what, about the accountability bet to see if anybody has interest. This is team-wide. I do need volunteers to help with it. The content will already be written, but I would like it for more people to be posting. I don't just want it to look like the Lindsay Show, because that's not what it is. And this is the time that I have kind of left open for questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and look at all your pretty faces. Again, I know that was a ton of information. So if you have questions, type them up in the chat or unmute yourself and feel free to ask. And please ignore my child who's still banging on my door, asking me to turn on his ceiling fan. The thought of breaking all that down stresses me out. Honestly, if you don't break it down, you're going to be stressed out. You have to break it down. Like, thinking about all the things that I want to do with our team for the rest of 2018 stresses me out until I start breaking them up and saying, okay, if we want to do this, then we need to do this this month, and we need to do this week. It takes some time, but it's definitely worth it, for sure. The first quarter is January through March. Yes, Jen, good question. Guys, I'm going to put him back in bed real quick, but if you have questions and you want to discuss things, go ahead and discuss them, and I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. So sorry, you guys. This is the 12-month year, right? I think that, yeah, so Jenna, I love the 12-month year. I break down everything similar to that. And so this is my way of doing it. It's not like exactly the way the book describes, but yes, essentially what I've done is broken things down so that I know what I need to do short term in order to hit what I want to achieve long term. Yes, for sure. And if you have not read The 12-Month Year, that's such a fantastic book. It's a little, I've actually read it twice. It was a little overwhelming to me the first time, mainly like what Lindsay said. It's kind of scary to think about everything you need to do in order to hit the goal. But if you don't know everything you need to do in order to hit the goal, you can't hit the goal. So it is really, really beneficial to know how to do that. Are there any questions about the accountability bet specifically before we cut the call off? I know that it makes perfect sense in my head, but I'm the one that thought of it. And so I may not have articulated it very well. So. Everything looks good. Alrighty. Well, like I said before, we like to be very considerate of each other's time. It's just a little bit after 9 o'clock. And I would love for you guys to, I'll make a little image in our team page. I would love for you to share what your September and October calendars look like. If I want you to implement what I just went over with you. And that's why I'm going to share the Google Slides with you so that you can look at it again if you want to. Make this something that suits you. So if you're someone who likes notifications on your phone, set it up so you get the notification on the day that you need to make the post. If you're someone who has a digital calendar, like a Google Calendar in front of you, then do it that way. If you're like me, use your planner. It does not have to be pretty. I just bought a bunch of fancy stickers at Walmart. That's why mine looks pretty right now. But you don't have to have it like that. It can be a to-do list and just with a date next to it. Whatever system works for you. But I do want you to take a picture of it and I want you to share it in the team page underneath that graphic, mainly because I want you to start doing it. I want you to see how other people are doing it if your system isn't working right now. And it's a little bit of accountability, right? Like, that's what we've been talking about this whole call. So we got to hold each other accountable. We got to show up. But if there are no more questions, I will stop recording and I'll put this link up there ASAP and share the slides with you so that you have access to the why video and you can go back and look. Have a great night, guys.